Alright, ladies and gentlemen, Fab's in the house. And today I've got the Spyderco Ikuchi here with me for a review. And as usual, we're gonna analyze the look, the sound, and the feel of this guy. But first of all, let's check the size of this guy, because it's not a small knife. I mean, overall length is gonna be 7.6 inches with a blade size of 3.25 and a handle of, I would say, around 4.2 inches. So, it looks small, it is thin, but it's not that small, because look at this. Ontario Rat number 2. All right, check this out. Ontario Rat number 1. Look at this. It's right in between, yeah, but it's not as small as the Ontario Rat number 2. Or for example, Spyderco Para 3. It's bigger than that. The handle is kind of like the same size as the Spyderco, but look at that. So Paramilitary 2, of course, is bigger than this guy, but look at the blade. Blade length is kind of like the same, handle size is smaller than that, so pretty good. Also, let's go a little bit higher up in price. This is the Shirogorov Neon Frag Monkey Edge Edition, and if you look, it's very comparable to this guy. This is a big boy. This is the Shirogorov F95R, so much bigger than that. But if you check, for example, this guy, this is on another ballpark, of course. Holt Bladeworks Spectre V3, it's very comparable. Look at that. Handle a little bit smaller and blade a little bit smaller too. This is the Chris Reeve Knives Large Sebenza 21, and this is the Thule from Reikin Knives, and of course, sorry guys, I forgot to bring this guy in, Spyderco Schmock. It's a pretty comparable competitor for this guy, and another beauty right over here, which has a little bit longer blade, but much longer handle over here, and a pretty full carbon fiber scale, not laminated carbon fiber like this guy is sporting, because yes, this is not real. I mean, it's carbon fiber, but it's laminated on top of a G10 set of scales. So they chipped out a little bit, but remember that the price of this guy is going to be around $140, so not that crazy, I mean. But still, they had to contain the price. They couldn't use something like as good as this, you know, 3D milled, beautiful, fully solid carbon fiber, skeletonized on the inside with this pattern going on. No, forget about that. You're gonna have some nice, I mean, it's nice, but it's the same level of the Schmock, for example. You can see it's a laminated carbon fiber. This guy is designed by Paul Alexander, and it's made by Spyderco in Taichung, Taiwan. Look at this, right over here. Overall, this guy is nice. It's a very gentleman knife because it's sleek. Look at the lines, very clean. You have a hole passing through the scales and matching with the Spidey hole like that. Nick Shabazz did a nice joke, like just locking, using a lock to lock the knife. So it was an interesting take on this design, which I think it's nicely done. I like this gentle curve, and I like this more pronounced curve right over here in the back. The liners are stainless steel and full liners. They extend to the end over there, and they are drilled out. They have 4 holes going on, plus this guy over here, to reduce the weight, and they're gonna retain the strength for sure. You have some nice chamfering going on the outside, and just a little bit going on the inside. Not too crazy. There is no lanyard hole. I mean, I guess you can pass the lanyard hole through this standoff over here, but it's gonna end up probably rubbing up against the tip of the blade over here, so I would probably not do that. This is a compression lock mechanism, so you have basically this bent bar over here in this liner, which is catching onto this notch over here at the end of the tang of the blade, so it's gonna just lock the blade in place like that. Very, very interesting construction, super easy to disassemble, guys. Just check out my disassemble video because it's pretty straightforward, and if you receive this brand new, there's a good chance that the action, it's not gonna be like as drop shotty or bouncy as this one, because I just tweaked it and perfected it with some 5-weight nano oil right over here. But overall, you have a T8, you have T6 and another T8 over here. Just unscrew these and you're pretty much set. Clean it up, lube it up, and screw it back together. Very, very straightforward disassembly. You have a nice set of non-protruding hardware screws. Pivot is captive. There's a nice bushing pivot going on under the hood over here. You have a wire clip, which is stainless steel polished, which is reversible, tip up, carry only. And it's kind of like a deep carry pocket clip, because this is the amount of handle is gonna stick out from your pocket. The blade is interesting. It's like a Persian style blade, so nice curve going on over here, full big belly going on up to the sharpening choil, and you've got very, very thin stock, super slicely, super stabby, really, really nice tip over here, full flat grind, nice satin finish going on. The edge symmetry is spot on, I have to say. It's really, really sharp and really, really good. Pretty thin behind the edge, not the thinnest, but it's they did a decent job going on over here, guys. Of course, you have sharpening choil right over here. It's gonna facilitate your sharpening job 100%. There's no thumb ramp, there's no crowning, there's no jimping going on. There's a little bit of chamfering on the spine over here, but it's a pretty simple design, I have to say. There is the classic billboarding going on from Spyderco, CPM S30V, the logo, Paul Anderson, Taichung Taiwan factory logo. I mean, they wrote quite some stuff on the blade, even if it's honestly not that bad. I mean, not that bad. The sound this guy makes is this one. All right. Very interesting, very bouncy, of course, but this is not loud. It's very listenable. It's kind of soft on the closing action, and it's a little bit rich, I would say, on the opening side. It's very interesting. There's no echoing. It's like a little bit muffled. But I like it. It has a pretty decent sound. The weight on this guy is pretty spectacular. This is 2.1 ounces. Yeah, 2.1 ounces. So super, super light. When you squeeze this guy in the hand, you're gonna feel a little bit of hot spot coming from the wire clip, but not really many like sharp edges. There's no jimping, we said. The grip is probably my biggest concern on this guy, because you see, it's a pretty slim knife and it's not that tall. It's also short on the handle. So when I hold this guy, and if you need to cut something, you're gonna be wanting the blade to stay in this position. But in my case, if I squeeze, the blade tends to go onto a side. So this is like, you know, the optimal grip, but it tends to, you see, not stay like this, but just angle a little bit, and even trying to do like that. That's the optimal grip, but yeah, that's uncomfortable for me. So that's gonna be probably a small issue on this guy. You can do like a reverse grip and it's going to be much more comfortable, but still you want it to be like that. But if you squeeze, this is going to tend to roll a little bit like that. So it's not just staying in the optimal position. Overall, it feels quite solid. There's a little bit of bend, like if you can see over here, because the standoffs are pushed back to this side, so there's not much going on up to the stop pin right over here, and these liners are relatively thin, so there's a little bit of bend going on. The texture on the scales is gonna give a nice grip, so it's not gonna be that slippery overall, so that's good. The fit and finish, I have to say, it's pretty good. I don't see too many gaps going on. You have some nice internal jimping right over here, which is a little bit functional in this position, but I would have preferred some jimping going on over here. The clip is the wire clip classic with a light tension. I mean, it's not that springy, but it's going to be doing a good job because it's a deep carry, so I appreciate that. Also, what I like is the flipper tab, because there's jimping going on all the place, like starting from the beginning to the end, and it's gonna give a nice grippy action if you know how to deploy the blade, because basically this is like not a push button. It's not, you see, like push button, it's not gonna work. You have to do like a light switch like that and just drag the tab like in this direction like this, and it's gonna deploy pretty nicely with some authority, I have to say. And there's not gonna be much finger sore coming up from this kind of jimping, and the overall action, you see, now I just made a mistake because I wanted to do a push button, but if you just do like a light switch like that, no issues whatsoever. You see, you're gonna have overall smooth action because this guy is running on phosphorus bronze washers, and if you use the right lube, yeah, you're gonna be absolutely fine. The detent strength is on the medium light side on this sample over here. There's not really much kickback going on when you deploy the blade, because the blade is like very thin, very light, and not wanting to kick back the handle in any way. If you shake it, there's no rattling going on, so it's well put together. Something that it's not really good for me, it's the amount of lock release relief that they designed over here. You look at that. So this is a very small area to grip onto in order for you to deploy, to disengage the lock bar. So it's not ideal. I mean, it's doable, yeah, but I would have preferred, like, for example, if you look at the Para 3, look at that. You have a nice cut out, so because it's the same idea, compression lock like that. But if you look, you see it's much more easy on the Para 3 to disengage the lock bar. So that's a little bit, it's not ideal. It's a little bit tough to disengage the lock bar, but it's all right. Overall, I like the drop shotty, the free fall, the guillotine effect that you can achieve if you use the right lube. There's not really much detent suction over here, just like from little below right over there. So I mean, overall, it's a really nice looking knife. It's pretty lightweight. The blade has a pretty cool design. Sound is average. The grip has a little bit of issues, as well as the lock bar release over there. So there you have it. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please don't forget to subscribe. Thanks for watching and stay tuned.